Alright, here we are on a new day, a beautiful one at that. I was just about to pull this engine out, and then I started thinking about my bumper cover support, this piece. So now that, I chopped this up, and I'm not going to be using that foam pad, I'm pretty sure with this and that foam pad that was on here helped support the bumper itself. So now the bumper is just going to be supported by this piece, the top part of it anyway. So like lightning. Where are they going? The crazy puppies. They're off. Well, anyway, so yeah, I was thinking about this bumper cover support bracket right here that supports the top portion. So I was thinking I needed to reinforce that this plastic piece wouldn't be good enough, because I'm trying to think along the lines, if I go to a car show and someone goes to look at the car and then they lean on the bumper for some reason and then they snap this piece of plastic. So I was looking at supporting it with this piece of angle here. I'm gonna somehow, because this is kind of like a slight V, so you gotta cut a little V gap out of there and then get the contour of this going that way and that way, and then support it up with something in between here. Well, that's the plan, so I'm gonna get at that. And yeah, and this is why you should always clean up the jagged edges on your metal when you're done cutting it. So this is pretty much what I'm doing. Got a little V gap out of the middle there, so I can get that little bend in it for a V. And fitting it in here like that. And then this is gonna go underneath though, like this. Like that. But what I didn't realize is this plastic piece is arched upwards. I didn't even realize that until I got this all cut and put in here. So I may have to cut the middle out and push this upwards so it all lays flat on there. And then I'll have to put some upright pieces on these ends here to hold it up. And that's it, should be good. So yeah, pretty much I'm just gonna cut that out, push it up, tack it together, and we're gonna figure out some uprights. Alright, so this is pretty much what I got going for the uprights. Just using some tube that I got laying around here. And yeah, I think it's gonna work out good. Just gotta tack everything up a little better, and then I can take off the plastic support so I can weld up the metal one. This is a support for a support. It's crazy. Alright, got it all tacked in there. Actually, I think this isn't plastic. I think it's fiberglass, if I ain't mistaken. I was grinding it. Alright, I'm done with my custom bumper cover support for my bumper cover support. Nice, right? Did my best. Yeah, my welds are shitty. Oh man, if I showed you underneath there, bubble gum. And that's it. My bumper cover support for my bumper cover support. Got it all jacked back up again. Oh yeah, just got my jack stands in place. The one over there, and the other one right there. I'm gonna try to set this down on them, and then hopefully I left enough room to slide her out from underneath there. Alright, she's back out. Thank you, Lord. So, yeah, I gotta yank that out of the way, get it back in the garage over here, and then we're gonna have us some fun. I'm gonna go ahead and pressure wash this again. Alright, well that's it for this right now. Gonna go eat dinner, and then we'll start again tomorrow. Alrighty, y'all. So, yeah, after doing all that grinding in there, got a lot of little metal pieces and rust formation now because of the little metal pieces all over the place. So we're gonna Re-pressure wash the whole inside of this, and then we're gonna do some more wire wheeling after it's done. Got it all cleaned up again, all rinsed out again. But again, the whole theme on this project is, you know, nothing's perfect. Yeah, I'm just gonna go get some Rust-Oleum primer, and we're going to go crazy priming all the rusted areas. Try to seal that rust in, because I am not taking the time to clean all these tiny little spots. That is just insanity, especially on this car. You know, it's nothing special to me. It's just a project for me to gain some experience in doing a build. That is it. So we're just gonna do a quick primering and a quick painting. Hey, precious. All right, finally having some nice days out here. Got past this little rainy spell we had. So I'm gonna grab my blower. I'm gonna blow up all this crap that fell off the trees, and then I'm gonna start prepping the old Camaro here. Get some, get a bag over, some tape, and we're gonna paint this engine bay. All right, getting my prime on. But yeah, we're using some Rust-Oleum flat white primer, 2x ultra cover, and we are getting at it. So far, I got one can down in here. I'm about to start on my second one. Primer's all dried up. Now we're gonna start shooting that paint in here. Gonna be using this Rust-Oleum 2x ultra cover. It's a ultimate high gloss. Oi! All right, we got all that paint in there now. Let me tell you, I am not the best spray can painter. I do not do good with a spray can. I'm gonna tell you, there are runs everywhere. Everywhere I paint it, there's a big run to go with it. Let's see if you can see a couple of them. Yeah, see that there? But that's nothing. I mean, it's all over. I could have took my time and, you know, did a bunch of little coats, but no, I'm getting it all done in one coat. That's pretty much what I did. I just put it on nice and thick. But this isn't a show car, so I'm not really that worried about it. So it's just a matter, like I was saying, just getting it, you know, looking half decent, not looking for perfect. Just good enough. While that's drying, I'm gonna start putting this wiring harness back on this engine. Just got done parts washing the throttle, and we're gonna stick this back on. All right, so I popped this little screen out. Figured didn't need this anymore. At least I don't think so anyway. So yeah, took that out. And yeah, now we're gonna stick this back on the engine. Cleaned up my maintenance surfaces. And we got the old box of gaskets here. Just gonna be taking this one, popping it on here. Just like that. The shitty eBay gasket set. Oops, see. Right, we got the throttle tightened back on there. Also reinstalled the oil pressure sensor and the coolant temperature sensor here. And we also installed this sensor over here, which still not sure the name of that. Oh yeah. So we also finished clocking up the turbos, because I never finished doing that. Did both of them. And I am still trying to figure out what I'm doing with this fuel line. I don't know if I can reuse that or not, because I need to get a fitting put in it for our fuel pressure gauge. But yeah, pretty much got the wiring harness laid back in here. Got my little clips back on to hold it down. And I also have to reinstall the Pcv valve, which goes right there. I'm still considering on buying a new one though, because yeah, I mean, this one's kind of dirty, but I'm not too sure on that yet. And I cleaned it off a little bit, but it seems all right. I think I might reuse it. I mean, I sprayed the inside out. I hear the thing bouncing around. They say if you don't hear that noise bouncing around in there, that typically it's so clogged up that it's not reusable. But I mean, it was bouncing around before I cleaned it up, and it's still bouncing around after I cleaned it up. So thinking I might just shove this back in there and give it a whirl. All right, so my oil feed and return kit just came in the mail from eBay, so we'll be installing this or mocking it up in a couple days. Seems like Precious wants to finish this little project up we're doing here. So Yeah, I ended up having to go to the local auto parts store. I grabbed me some gasket sheet and a new PCV valve because it was only $2.99, so what the hell. Yeah, already got the gasket cut out, just got to throw some holes in it and then we can reinstall the PCV valve. Oh yeah, we got that PCV valve back in there. Now we're gonna parts wash this nasty starter. I gotta say, man, two things I hate the most: parts washing and grinding. Oh yeah, we got that starter all cleaned up, put back on, along with the coil packs. Also got the wiring harness ran the rest of the way. Actually had to take these bolts out here on the tranny and get these clips back mounted on there. And we also ran the rest of the wiring down on the transmission. Got that all connected. Yeah, there's a few other wires that don't have a home anymore, like the EGR. Yeah, I gotta figure that out. Probably just gonna leave it hanging there. Not gonna cut them off. Also, I got the, what is it? The O2 sensor plugs here. Also, I don't know what to do with, so I'm just gonna leave them hanging there. I really don't know. I have to reinstall two of them, or the wideband is all I need after this. And what else? Yeah, I gotta figure out a little bracket for the dipstick here to mount to this bolt. And yeah, a few more other things. We're getting there. Yeah, I gotta rehook up the power steering lines, tighten that up, get some Teflon on there. Oh, yep. We're making our way to getting this bitch back in there. Oh yeah, I can't wait. All right, getting back at it again. All right, so the other day when I was down here, we ended up clocking these turbos, and I had noticed that the actuation rod coming off the actuator is pretty much cut and clear across the path of the oil return line. I ended up referring back to the manual that came with the turbo and ended up saying in here just not to exceed 15 degrees of angle for your drainage. I ended up clocking it 10 degrees over so we can have enough room for our oil return to get past the rod there. All right, so it's time for another short out the bag look at some of these parts I bought. All right, so the first one is a sandwich plate. Got it for $18.99. I actually was searching around on eBay for a kit, and this was the only one that said it would work on my car. And I found out the reason why this was the only one, which I'm pretty sure it's these fittings here. Yeah, right there, M18 by 1.5. This is the one that adapts to my oil filter. Yeah, this thing's great. These are actually made for, I guess, turbos and oil coolers. There's actually 3 ports that come out of here. One on the side and these 2 over here. All right, yeah, I'm hoping that one works out good. I really am. All right, so for the next lube component, turbocharger 1/4-inch NPT oil feed line fittings. This is the listing for the fittings I got. I paid $15.76. That's for the 2 sets that I got. Yeah, actually this was the last 2 sets that was online on eBay anyway that I found like these. So yeah, it comes with the banjo and the bolt, and yeah, the aluminum flange that it bolts into, along with a 1/4 to 4 AN, and then the gasket and bolts. And I also got the oil feed and return line kit. I actually got 2 of them, and I paid $69.98 for both of them. All right, so I opened the one, and that's how it's packaged in that bag like that. So yeah, those are all the fittings it comes with. The drain tube, and actually I think that's 24-inch drain tube and a 36-inch feed. All right, so I'm gonna start playing with these and trying to mock them up on here with the turbos, and yeah, hopefully everything works out. All right, so I've been down here working on these oil feed and return lines. I'm trying to get them on there for a little bit now. So I have came across two minor issues which I'm working on resolving right now. So the first one is, the way this is set up, when you put it up on here, it's still hitting the actuation rod. This part is anyway. So I just ordered this style fitting instead of the one I got, which will bring this up higher. So I'm figuring once I get those other fittings, that rod's gonna end up right where this thinner part of the tube is, and it should clear with plenty of room after I get that on there. So that's gonna fix that little issue. One of the other things is these lines are way too long. I actually ordered them like this purposely so I could get the correct measurement, and I'm going to bring them down to a hydraulic fitting line place and have them trim them and put new ends on them for me. And the other thing I was looking at was these oil drain tubes I have in here. The way this comes out on an angle, and then when you put that on, kind of comes close to where this sandwich plate, the filter is going to be sticking off the sandwich plate. So I'm going to go run to Wally World real quick. I'm going to grab us a filter. I'm going to slap it on there and make sure that clears the oil return. Alright, went over to Wally World, got that oil filter, and it seems like it is clearing nicely. So that's awesome. Yeah, originally I was going to just shove the hose over the tube, but when I got the hose kit, the oil drain kit, the hole was way too small. That wasn't going over it. So I ended up ordering some steel 10AN fittings, bungs that we can weld on the end of those. So that's pretty much what we're gonna be doing with that. All right, I guess till next time.